How's it going, guys? It's Aaron from Black Swamp Outdoors. Today I've got part 2 coming at you of my firstlite review. Now this is a review over multiple articles of clothing, all within firstlite's technical hunting apparel systems. Today we're going to be focusing on base layers or insulative layers. So stick around and check it out. So guys, like I said, we're back for part 2 of my firstlite review. I apologize for the long kind of gap between part 1 and part 2. I realize I probably kind of missed a window for a lot of people who were looking to have their clothing purchased or have some input for clothing that they were looking to purchase for the upcoming hunting season. We got extremely busy at work. Me and Mike got really far behind. We're going to do our best to not let that happen again. We're going to try to stay on top of things. So, some ground rules. I will let you know kind of everything of my sizing. I'll tell you what each article of clothing is sized as. That way maybe you can use it as a tool. If you happen to be about the same size as me, taller, shorter, thicker, thinner, what have you, you can kind of get an idea of what I wear. I'm 200 pounds, I'm 6'3". I shoot a 30 or a 30.5-inch draw on a bow, on a compound bow. I'm very lanky. I have a really long arm span, and I have a real long waist. That kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what the fitment would be like on some of the stuff for you guys. And again, if at any point you have comments on any of the particular clothes, if you'd like to see a video detailing more on one specific item than another, just let me know. Hit us up or comment it down below, and we'll do our best to get a video out and kind of address some questions that you may have, or we'll reply to you. So getting right into it, the first thing we're going to cover is the Origin hoodie. Now keep in mind I do have some gremlins inside and a lab, so that could get out of hand. We're going to get into my first article, my mid layer or base layers here, and this is going to be the Origin hoodie. So I wear the Origin in a size large. It fits me very well. I have room to put on base layers underneath, and it's not so baggy that I can't put anything else on top. It doesn't bunch up or scrunch up. It is 37.5 active particle technology, just like a lot of firstlite's other stuff. High Q pure, so that's going to be a lot of the antimicrobial properties, and then also odor control as well. It is what I would call a half zip. It's not a quarter zip or a QZ. It's kind of a half zip. You can see it kind of zips right about to your the bottom of your rib cage right there. Not quite all the way down, but about halfway. I zip it down. That helps getting it on and off, things like that. Real nice pulls on the zips here. I've never had an issue with any of the zippers. There is one breast pocket. It is kind of a hidden zipper. Opens up like that. It's on the left side. There is a kangaroo pouch, or a typical like a original like a hoodie style pouch. It's connected in the middle, but offers zippered closures on both sides just in case you want to close it up. Also, a big thing on the Origin hoodie that firstlite states is the integrated face mask. Now, there's a lot of varying opinions about the face mask. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people cut it out. I've left mine in because it doesn't bother me. I don't use it all the time, though. One thing I do use it a lot on is early season duck hunts or goose hunts. If I happen to be wearing this as kind of an intermediate outer mid layer, I will use this to break up my face. But a lot of the time during most of the season, I wear a neck gaiter, especially if I'm shooting my compound bow, because the area that this face mask pulls from, you have to have the hood up to wear the face mask. And the area that it pulls from blocks my ear, and that's what I use as an anchor point for my compound bow. So it really kind of doesn't give me a real good sense of where my anchor point is, so I don't use it a lot, especially when I'm deer hunting. It is double fleece lined. It's pretty warm for no thicker than it is. One thing I would say, if I could change anything, it would actually be the fleece, or change the way that it's sewn, or the way that it's brushed rather, because sometimes it can grab on things. Like, depending on what my layer is underneath it, it has a tendency to grab and bunch up, especially in my arm areas. Up top here, it usually grabs a shoulder of my, of my base layers or something like that, and it can kind of bunch it up, so you've got to reach up under there and square that away. A minor inconvenience, but again, for what this stuff costs, you would think that could be nullified. On each sleeve, there is a thumb hole or a grommet, whatever you want to call those. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. A lot of times I just wear the sleeves regular. Like I said, 30 and a half inch draw on a compound bow, 200 pounds, 6'3". The size large fits me perfectly. If you are a really short-armed guy, these might be a little long for you. If by some reason you have longer arms than me, they might not be quite long enough, but they are absolutely spot on for my build. So again, this is the Origin hoodie in size large. It accompanies me 90% of my hunting season, all the way past early dove into late season, goose hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting. It's one of my go-to mid layers, under no matter what I'm wearing over top. The hood fits really nice, and it does zip up almost all the way. It's the Firstlite. It's their typical turret style hood, so you've just got a little bit of your face peeking out. It moves with you. It doesn't bunch up and cover your eyes or anything like that. So overall, really good piece of kit here. One of my favorites, and would recommend the Origin hoodie overall. Let's check out something else. Next up, we have the runner-up to the Origin. The Origin directly took this article's place. This is the Klamath Hoody. Again, in size large and in First-Lite Fusion. The Origin also was in First-Lite Fusion for anyone that's curious or didn't know. I will go through, when I state that, I'll make sure to let you guys know what the print of all of them is as we go. But again, Klamath Hoody. It's since been discontinued. Actually, right now, at the time of recording, about a week ago, actually, I got a notification that Firstlite's going to be doing a limited run of the Klamath hoodies. So if you're interested in a Klamath, you can actually get one right now, but they have since been discontinued. They're doing a very limited run of them available right now. So this is a gridded fleece material on the inside, and yes, it is white on the inside. That was a big gripe of mine. Why, I don't know. Nothing really sees the inside, but I didn't like it being white. It was very warm. I would say that the Origin might slightly edge it out in warmth, just barely, if any. Or it might just be me saying and constituting the new purchase of an Origin. I don't know. But again, this one is more of a traditional QZ. It's about a quarter zip rather than the little more zip of the Origin there. Little bit more finicky on the zipper. It's a lot smaller of a zipper. You need to be a lot more accurate in your pulls. It is a little more apt to bind. Again, a breast pocket on the left side of the article. A lot smaller than the Origin, but it's still there. You will notice on the Klamath that there is no hoodie style pocket, even though it's called a Klamath hoodie. There is no pocket at all in the front. The only pocket on this thing was right here, and I really didn't like that about it, but when I bought this was kind of, it is what it was. I used this for about 2 seasons, two and a half years or so before the Origin come out, and I bought the Origin. No grommets or thumb holes on the Klamath hoodie. It is just fleece, no fanciness like that. Again, Firstlite turret style hood, no face mask in the Klamath. It is just a grid fleece style mid layer, base layer. Very durable. I've wore it in and out of everything. Never had an issue with any of the durability on it, although this is my biggest gripe right here. I'll try to show you. This pilling and stressing of the material is the only durability qualm I have about it, and that was from wearing my bino harness. I have an FHF bino harness. If you're interested in that, check my video out on it. It's pretty cool. That tore that up a little bit, right where my bino harness rides, of all things. Kind of odd, but never tore it up with thorns or sticks or trees or anything like that. Like I said, pretty warm, not quite as warm as the Origin, but it's pretty dang close. It's warm enough for the purpose that it serves and as thin as it is. Now, me and Mike's fascination with military surplus, the firstlite Klamath reckons back to the early GWAT stuff. They had a grid fleece military surplus jacket, and this, if you compare them side by side, we've got a couple around. If you compare them side by side, firstlite definitely took that military surplus technology, or vice versa, one of the two. I don't know how it was, but they're definitely cut from the same cloth. Very similar jackets between the Klamath and the military surplus. Some call it a waffle hoodie or a grid hoodie. Very, very similar. But overall, like I said, if you want a Klamath, you can get one right now. But they're going to be a limited run. So if you're interested in the Klamath, pick one up, because they are a pretty nice jacket. I don't use mine anymore. It just kind of sits up on the shelf as I kind of have my Origin, but sometimes I wear it around if we're going out on a shoot or something like that. It's going to be a little cool. I'll throw it in the truck because it is still a viable jacket. But when the need arises, I usually tend to go toward my Origin. All right, guys, now we're getting into the Brooks range. Did you get that joke? You might not have. Brooks Range is a mountain range in northern Alaska and into Canada, but I digress. Anyway, Brooks, one of my favorite, I'm going to call it a base layer. Firstlite probably calls it an insulated layer or an insulated jacket or outerwear or whatever. I'm going to classify them as a base layer. I think they tend themselves better to a base layer for certain situations, and I'll get there. This is the Brooks down vest in Firstlite. You'll notice a deviation here if you guys can read that. That's an extra large. Usually in Firstlite, I wear large. Brooks is cut a lot closer to the body than their other stuff, so a lot of the times I have something on under this. I also have here, this is a Brooks down jacket. The vest is a size extra large in Firstlite Fusion. Brooks down jacket is a size extra large in the color Dry Earth. So a lot of the times I'll wear this jacket when we're going out on the town or going to a game, something like that, going shopping, or just as a light winter coat. So a lot of the times I'll have a flannel on, a hoodie on, something else underneath this, and I'll wear this as my outer layer when I'm doing something like that. I have wore them as outer layers before while hunting, but I classify them more so as a insulative layer or a mid layer because they are so dang warm. This thing weighs absolutely nothing, but it's warmer than all get out, and it packs down. I mean, if you wanted to throw this in a pack or a ruck, hell, you could almost fit that in a fanny pack. I mean, it packs down to nothing, and in a flash, it puffs right back out, and you're back in business. So both of these guys, we're starting to get away from the pullovers. Both of these guys are full zips. Turret style hood on the Brooks down jacket. Again, you've got a cinch strap on the back, so you can really tuck that guy down. If the wind's cutting around you, you can really kind of Kenny yourself from South Park if you want to. Two pockets, one on each side, in the regular area where you'd have pockets on a jacket, I guess. Two pockets there, and then also on the Brooks, you have a dump pocket on the left side and a identical dump pocket on the right side inside. Great for storing gloves and hats and things like that. One thing about the Brooks down materials, it stains really easily. I'll say that. I've got on one of these here, it's my Brooks down jacket. You can kind of see it a little bit now. It might not pick up real good on the camera, but there's some grease and oil splattered around from using this while I've been out shooting and stuff like that, and just from shooting some guns in it and loading mags and then brushing up against myself. It stains pretty easily. This one's got some goose blood on it somewhere. They whatever the fabric is on the outer, they stain very easily. One thing to look out for. Size extra large in both of them. So these are actually filled with real down. They're 37.5 active down or down tech. It's one of the two. But then the down is also DWR coated. So it goes through a DWR process to help if you do get wet from the insulation matting. So it's separated in these pillows, these chambers, because it needs that loft. The down requires the air to keep its insulative property. So if you get this guy completely soaked, it's not going to be that warm. That's just not what down is good at. It needs that air trapped in it to stay warm. So it's DWR coated to help that repel water and keep it from matting down as well. I've had my Brooks down coat early on, probably 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. Absolutely love it. It might be one of my prized firstlite possessions. I love it. Really cool kind of topographical design on the inside here too. Now I've noticed on some newer firstlite stuff they're not doing that anymore, so I don't know if they're trying to cut costs in a few areas. Quality seems to be the same, but they're not doing that topographical look on the inside. I noticed that on the Uncompadre 2.0 too, and we'll get into that in a later video. Back to the vest. I probably utilize the vest more often than not, or more often than I do the jacket, I will say. I love the vest aspect because it is insulative, it keeps your core warm, but it also allows you to breathe. So when we're out setting decoys and stuff like that, I'll shed my outer layer or my shell layer, and a lot of the times just wear this and my base layer or whatever's on underneath it, because it might be 20 degrees or 15 degrees, but we're out hucking decoys and setting up blinds and getting guns around, so that it's nice to be able to dump some heat out of this vest quickly if you want to. Again, on the vest, same deal, full zip, a pocket on the left, a pocket on the right, again, zippered closures, and then a dump pocket on the left and a dump pocket on the right. All of them are very scratchy, very noisy. If quiet or quietness is your goal, it's not what you want with the Brooks down. They are a traditional puffy, more like a North Face or a skiing coat or, you know, something like that. They're not very strong. They're not briar proof. They're not anything like that. So I would not recommend that you go bunny hunting with these and break and brush. You're probably going to rip them. I've never ripped any of them. I've used them hard. So they're not, it's not like they're weak, but I don't legitimately go out of my way to put them to the test either. But my Brooks, I absolutely love. Again, the vest and the Brooks down jacket. Two of my absolute favorite pieces of firstlite. They fit well, they're warm. I've had them out in the snow and the rain. I've never really got wet in them. I've never got them wet enough to the point that clumps, anything like that. They're just really, really solid pieces of kit. Highly recommend. If you can't get the jacket or don't want the jacket, I would highly recommend at least getting the vest, because it is so versatile while you're out hunting. I mean, like I said, you can take that off and dump heat really quick. Like I said, I'm usually a size large, so I would size up one. It even gives you a disclaimer on Firstlite's website about them being cut athletic and close to the body for insulative purposes, so size up if you need to. So next up, I have the Rugged Wool Zip Hoody. This is one of my newer pieces I just bought this year, so I've only been fielding it up until this point, about Christmas time of 2024. But I do have some decent hours with it, and let me tell you that it is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to warmth. But you're going to pay the cost. This guy's heavy. You notice when you have it on. It is a pretty thick. It's a pretty, let me get the deer hair off of there. It is a pretty thick, pretty heavy jacket. You'll notice it in a pack. You'll notice it when you're wearing it. It comes at a cost, but it is warm. 85% merino wool this guy is, and also some nylon in there too. It is ultra stretchy, super durable. I've had this guy out through cat claw and sticks and twigs and things like that as an outer layer, and never had any issue. But again, I'm putting it into my mid-layer category because a lot of the times I'll wear a base layer, I'll wear this, and then I'll wear a shell layer, and we'll get into that in the other video. But like I said, 85% merino wool. This guy's warm, but he's heavy. Very nice jacket. Full zip on this guy, as with all of First Lite stuff, YKK zippers. They're really getting, like you've seen in the Klamath Hoody, a lot better in the zippers now in the recent ones. They're all YKKs, and a lot of them are going to this short style tab or the heat shrink pull, which I like both of them for different reasons. One breast pocket, there's the heat shrink pull like I was talking about. It's kind of a hidden zipper, kind of a hidden little pocket behind the First Lite logo there. This guy is touted as being rugged. That's in the name, Rugged Wool. It does really good in the wind. It does really good in the rain. I've wore it duck hunting and goose hunting, also late season deer hunting as a base layer, and I have had no qualms about it whatsoever, other than it's a little bit heavy. But this is in size large, and it is in the color Terra. Really kind of cool color. It's a deep dark brown color. Really neat. I liked it when I saw it. Typical First Lite hood. There's no drawstrings or anything on it, but it is stretchy and it does fit pretty well. The hood's kind of tall on this. It's not quite a turret style. It's not so tight to the sides. If you put this one up, you will notice a little bit of like shadow boxing or a little bit of a blind spots in your peripherals on my fit anyway, against size large. But really good length in the arms, and fit is top notch as you would expect from First Lite. No glommets or anything like that on the sleeves. They're just a good old sleeve. The outside is really slick. There's no binding when you're putting this, when you have this on, you're putting over shell layers or anything like that. There's no binding or grabbing or twisting or balling up. It flows really good under all the other layers, and it's a brushed inner. It's not a brushed fleece, it's like a brushed wool. So think of kind of like a wool sock. That's what the inside of this feels like. Really nice, and it's nice like when you grab it out of the truck in the morning, or you grab it out of your garage or something. It's a chilly morning, you put that on, you feel almost warm immediately with that brushed wool inner. It feels really nice. So top-notch stuff here again from First Lite. The Rugged Wool Zip Hoody, definitely recommend. Just to give you exact numbers, it is 85% merino wool, 12% nylon, and 3% spandex. And the actual weight of this guy is 33 ounces. So like I said, it is pretty hefty. Well, guys, thanks again for hanging out with me and checking out some First Lite gear again. Like I said, part 2. Hopefully we'll have part 3 coming up in the near future, and that's going to be on shell layers or outer layers. And we're also going to talk about gloves and hats in that as well. But thanks for checking out the mid-layer section of my series on First Lite. Again, if you have any questions on any of the gear or even things I don't have, I've put a lot of research into stuff that I might want to get or change. So throw questions out there in the comments on stuff I have. You know, if you want to talk about wear and tear and things like that. If there was any blatant issues, I would have told you them here. But, you know, any questions in general, let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Part 2 is a wrap. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day.